Welcome everyone to the to the next edition of the Heroes in Crisis series. I almost said third. We're actually on the fourth issue. And yeah, things are not looking good for the world of Heroes in Crisis because yeah, everything's kind of going to hell. At the end of this, it really goes to hell. And it does provide some context that we've been trying to get since, I don't know, the goddamn beginning. Like, one, where does this take place in? When are certain characters going to be brought into this? We've been trying to figure that out, and now we have a full date at the end of where this takes place in. I'll get to that at the end. So we open up with someone getting drunk. We were Titans and the Titan teens. Yeah, it's Tempest. And sure enough, someone tells Tempest to get up and tell him that they're leaving. And he just wakes up and says, "Oh, you. Hey, I can't walk. Maybe I can swim. No shirt, no shoes, no service." And it's revealed to have been, to be Donna Troy carrying Tempest, and yeah, there's even a graffiti banner of the Hatton Corners loves the Teen Titans of the old days. You know, when things were happy and we had hope even in the darkest moments. No, we can't have that. And in fact, even the issue kind of sounds like, the title of the issue sounds like it doesn't care anymore. Like, this is what it said. It's like, "Funk this." It's like, really? You're really gonna do this as a title name for your story? I mean, like, I would only buy it if it was Deadpool, but to say "Funk this" in a big event comic, like, at least Deadpool can get away with it because he's self-aware, but still, it's just... I'm pretty sure that might incentivize readers not to buy it because it sounds like you just don't care anymore, which, of course, Dan DeVito clearly shows. So, we open up to another confessional, this time by Donna Troy. She is basically discussing about what's real and what isn't, and talking about the Greek gods, and, you know, how the Iliad, the events of the war for Troy and whatnot, and how there's always that debate between archaeologists and the people of history saying that this was real, this was real, this was real. But, yeah. And Donna Troy has this big confessional going on where she basically says this: "It's the passion of all of man. It's the war of the gods. It's the birth of literature, every story. It's Troy." Well, actually, there was some others, but I skipped that part. But basically, it's talking about how Hector dying, Achilles dying, is talking about the Iliad, and indirectly the Odyssey, since that's kind of a sequel, so to speak, by Homer. But then she just goes all, ask the historians or an archaeologist, and they'll tell you there's nothing to prove if ever actually there was a place like that. Beyond a myth, maybe written down by a guy who maybe was named Homer. And yeah, like how they look for it, they find ruins, but they don't know that it should exist. There's so much built around it. It should just be, but maybe it doesn't. Maybe it's just a mistake, a confusion between two old storytellers who got mixed up. Maybe it was never there in the first place and all that stuff. And like, yeah, that confused me to no end. Mostly because it's the DC freaking universe. You mean to tell me that in a universe where there's a character named Wonder Girl who is the daughter of Zeus, you know, the Greek god, and how it's been established that every religion is technically correct, but they start cosmic wars with each other, making all the religious crusades completely child's play. But, yeah, you mean to tell me they're still in this debate? Yeah, there's no such things as gods. The events of the war on Troy never happened. There's still debates on that. We think it might be Homer, but we're not 100% certain. What? So yeah, that just really confused me. Like, there's still people debating whether or not what happened in the Iliad is real or not, even though, like, you're in a world where there's, um, let's see, aliens, creatures, godly powers, a guy who dresses up as a bat but has an extensive hatred for rock and roll. I cannot let what Linkara started go. But yeah, they have all this stuff in the DC universe, and they don't believe it still. Like, this is not like the DC universe was born yesterday. So yeah, we cut back to the tragic incident where the sanctuary was attacked, and yeah, here's what happened. Flash, after punching Booster Gold and nothing falling through on that, yeah, Flash, Barry Allen, not Wally West, tragically, yeah, and like, there's this whole thing going on where basically Flash is debating with Batman about who did it. Like, one set, Flash thinks it was Booster Gold, Batman saying it's Harley, and how, and I'm still wondering, like, wait, what happened? Did Flash try to kill Booster? Did he have to fight Superman? Did Superman have to hold him back from murder? Like, we never got that, and that confused me. Like, hey, let's skip this big event over where he probably should have killed somebody. And yeah, after Batman and Barry Allen say their respective criminals, they just look at each other, and Barry just goes, "Fuck." Yeah, Barry curses. So yeah, Booster Gold is then, we get back to Booster Gold, and he's talking with Wonder Woman under the lasso of truth, and she's questioning him, and then tells Booster again, start from the beginning, the alarm. You leave Sanctuary, and then Flash, aka Wally, got hit by, and then breaks that sentence and goes, so she hit him. Wonder Woman asks who, and Booster says it was Harley Quinn, obviously, and then they talk, saying how it was his first day, and then she was laughing, and then she was hitting me. And yeah, and then Wonder Woman asks, what about your shield? Brainiac's shield, the one you took from the museum in the future? Yeah. And Booster says, I don't know, maybe it failed, or maybe she had something stronger. Maybe it saved me and then it quit, or all I know is when I woke up, it wasn't working anymore. And I woke up and I was there where I was the only one who woke up. And Wonder Woman says, this is when you ran away. And then Booster says, no, I didn't run. I flew. And then we cut to, and in the middle of this huge investigation, there's something in here that made me go like, okay, something had to have gone through their heads. Lois Lane is asking Superman a question, and she's wearing a Superman shirt that clearly is too big for her, and we see her in her panties. In a murder investigation story. Okay, let's deny the whole Lois Lane and how people love her and how she looks good and whatnot, yada yada yada. Why the fuck did you put this in here? Why are you having Lois Lane act all seductive a little bit? Just when there's a serious moment going on with the whole investigation, and they're not even doing any signs of seduction or flirting. It's just, oh, what do you want me to do? And Superman just says, I don't know. And how Lois Lane is explaining how he doesn't know what she doesn't know what to do regarding the confessions and the documents coming from the Puddler regarding the sanctuary, because things got linked. And Lois explains that if she does nothing, then someone's gonna do it, and they'll do everything, and they might expose the information, and yeah, it's not good all around. And Superman just says, I know, I just don't know. Superman doesn't know? Well, you can ask Batman. He's the guy that everyone says knows everything. And then we get another confessional, this time with Batgirl. And yeah, here's the thing. She's basically showing the bullet holes she got when she was shot and was disabled for a time and became Oracle from the Killing Joke event. Does that require her getting up, showing herself, and then turning around and showcasing her behind while showing the bullet hole? Like, it just was weird. And then we get to Batgirl and talking with Harley Quinn, and basically a fight breaks out, and Harley Quinn's singing. Batgirl is trying to convince her that they don't want to, trying not to fight, how they're not enemies, and Harley just calls Barbara, "Hey, girl, Bat," and she just says, "Hey, Harley, how you doing?" "Oh, nothing. I just tried to punch you repeatedly, shatter a bunch of mirrors. I probably broke some of my fingers, and I'm probably gonna get cuts in my fingers due to the glass. But I'm doing all right. Oh, and by the way, my girlfriend's dead, so yeah, it's kind of a good day for me. I mean, like, I beat up the Trinity. I'm like, I can brag about that. Somehow, I'm still trying to process how that happened. And then we cut to yeah. However, we cut to the Green Arrow and Black Canary, and they're talking, and then Black Canary says, "Solve them now, or I'll find them both and blow their heads off, and let the Afterlife's greatest detective figure it out. So we're gonna go and murder people and not have the evidence for it." Right. Then we cut to Black Canary's confessional where she has her arms crossed, and then she just, fuck this, and walks out. And they leave 6 more additional panels for this of nothing. So then we get another scene back at the Hall of Justice where basically Blue Beetle, Ted Kord, is talking to Booster Gold saying, "Did you do it?" And how Booster Gold says, "I took the lasso test. I said I didn't do it. So you didn't do it?" Well, Wonder Woman said, "Maybe I just believe I didn't do it. Like, I messed up, so messed up I believe that. And that's just a sign that I'm messed up enough to do it." "Oh, so you did it?" "Dude, yeah, man. I mean, fink." Right. We should get out of here. I've been sick, I shouldn't, but we should fix this. So I gotta be here, yada, yada, yada. How, "I don't want to go." "We're going." "Okay." And then he says about a code where he says, "Bros before heroes." And Booster goes all, "Dude, bros before heroes." I mean, like, it's not like I'm gonna have the Justice League after. Like, I think there was a moment where if they go in the next issue and have a scene where Booster is talking to himself suddenly and his droid isn't there, and Ted Kord's just looking at him for a second, he's like, I'm pretty sure they were gonna have a thought like, "Oh crap, what have I done? I just made ourselves fugitives and I doomed the human race." So yeah, and when we get to Blue Beetle's confession where he talks about hitting, occasionally dying, and if you're a hero, that's just what you do, over and over and over and over and over. So he's pointing out the obvious. We have constant resurrections going on in our universe, don't we? And how I think they're referencing Maxwell Lord, but I'm not certain if it happened. But then we transition back to an hour ago where the Trinity are talking, and basically this is what happened. Wonder Woman says, "I thought you said," "I did say, but Kord Industries helped build this Hall of Justice. I just had him," and yeah, suffering, whatever. And sure enough, the giant penny that I am questioning how Batman keeps that clean, smashes one of his cars. And Batman just goes all, "You couldn't have helped with that." Superman just goes all brooding mode by saying, "There's something else I have to tell you. Tell you too." And Batman just tries to crack a joke, say, "I'll hide the dinosaur." And Superman just says, Lois has, well, she's been getting videos of Sanctuary confessions. She's doing an article on what Sanctuary is, how it works. Without, she's not revealing names, or she's keeping it anonymous for now. And Batman says, there are no Sanctuary videos. Sanctuary is secret. I made it secret. Every piece of data at Sanctuary is immediately deleted, broken, scattered. That's why there's no records of the killer. And yeah, Superman points out the fucking problem here, where he says, Bruce, she has seen them. She has them. I've seen them. They're real. They're us. And Batman just goes all, what? How long have you known? A few days. Days? I'm sorry. And then Batman just goes ahead and pokes Superman in the chest by saying this. You corn-fed, don't you? How? You think it's a damn coincidence this happens after the murders? We need to investigate. We need to have already investigated this. And Superman just says, this is Lois's source. She shared it with me in the confidence of our marriage. Well, except for Dan DiDio. He claims that it's a marriage that should not happen. So you're kind of done there, Soups. She's a reporter. I'm a reporter. A relationship with a source is... There's only so much I can do. Even saying something now. Batman just goes, great. Now I'm going to break the dinosaur. If only we had rock and roll. I will destroy that before I destroy my precious dinosaur. Diana then asks the obvious, when is this story going to come out? And then Superman does this, because he's a massive dumbass. Well, that's the thing. That's why I decided to tell you now. She sent it 35 seconds ago. I, Superman, am trying to rival Batman in being a massive dick. It's working, right? Sure enough, the Daily Planet publishes the article Superheroes Sanctuary, calling a superhero recover in secret sanctuary, talking about what is Sanctuary by Lois Lane. Now pay attention to the date. I'll get to the other part to pay attention to, but still. January 2nd, 2019. 1, that's the day the comic came out. Nice joke there, ha ha ha. 2, that makes this only a couple months till everything goes to hell. No, think about it. In Doomsday Clock, it's revealed that it's July 2019, which means that the events that happen in Doomsday Clock took place around Christmas, which now makes it even more depressing. More so for the heroes, that now they have this happening to them on Christmas. They also basically say that Heroes in Crisis is not only a prequel to Doomsday Clock, but it takes place a couple of months before everything goes to hell and the people and the world riots. Yeah, so... Yeah, and also the other thing that was brought up was the fact that where does the image come from in the article? Yeah, it says in the article that the artist of the photo they made was Clayman, the artist of the damn comic. So does that mean DC exists in the DC universe? Meta territory. So, yeah. So yeah, the world's now kind of screwed, and meanwhile we cut back to Harley Quinn and Batgirl, where Harley is screaming, "Harley and Girl Bat, the dynamicer duo!" And then Batgirl receives contact and finds out that, yeah, Sanctuary's been revealed. Sanctuary has been compromised. And she basically admits that this is going to change the whole world, and Harley Quinn just goes, okay, good. Fuck the world. It needs changing. And I'm like, okay, I'll agree to the world needs changing, but when you're revealing that the superhero community is very, 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 very mentally fucked after all the chaos they went through, that's gonna make superheroes kind of an endangered species if they really went this route. So that's where the comic ends, and I'm just left wondering, this is possibly the weirdest thing I don't know why they did those those sexual fan service scenes. I'm just confused more than irritated. Like, I get like in the comic books, I know for a fact that there's a lot of fan service. Look at the Red Hood and the Outlaws New 52 Starfire they did. But like, but even in a contextual sense, it doesn't make sense to me. Like, what's the context of Lois Lane looking all seductive and whatnot, but they're talking about something serious going on, and yet the page is showing her wearing the Superman shirt and not fully, and it's really over her size, and yet she's in red panties, and I'm just left wondering, like, why? Just why? Like, even Doomsday Clock issue #1, when they showed Lois Lane, they didn't show her being all seductive and whatnot when Superman had a nightmare. But at least I can say that at least it shows that their relationship is good, and the Heroes in Crisis point, they're still trying to make them a divorce, even though they can't, because that would have pissed everyone off. And yeah, basically the DC Earth is now horribly screwed. And also at the end of this comic, in fact they did this for their week of comics, this is what they said. With the utmost respect from the distinguished competition, Excelsior! In Memoriam Stan Lee, 1922 to 2018. Excelsior! But yeah, moving on from that, like, rest in peace, Stan Lee. He was awesome. Back to the comic. I was like, what's with the meta humor? What's with the meta Easter eggs they made? What's with Batman acting all comedic for some reason, even though he hates rock and roll and he treats that seriously, even though everyone else would probably say, you're kind of a freaking idiot. Like, you hate a musical genre because one guy killed another person who just happened to have an interest in music of rock and roll? Like, God, at least you don't sponsor religious factions that go ahead and preach that rock and roll needs to be outlawed. Then we'll really know who the villain of the story is. But yeah, Superman trying to one-up Batman in the I'm an asshole department. Basically say, hey, guys, Trinity, let's get together. So, my wife has the information about Sanctuary. Someone's been giving them to her. She has the videos. I've seen them. I've seen the tapes. Yeah, I just came to tell you that it's already been published. She sent it 35 seconds ago. You're welcome for me informing you. I'm trying to one-up Batdick. And I don't get this whole attempt to try and be humorous, like, no, I'm going to break the dinosaur. It's like, Batman, that joke doesn't make sense unless you want to waste your gadgets and break it. Okay, fine, but like, why? It makes more sense if Superman and Wonder Woman said that, because they can physically break the dinosaur. Why am I talking about dinosaurs? I just thought that was hilarious. But yeah, it's like they're trying to, like, I'm wanting to see an investigation going on, trying to figure out who done it, which I still believe it's either Dr. Manhattan or the comedian, or Dr. Manhattan has somehow warped the minds of all the characters that were at Sanctuary. And I keep hearing a theory that it might be Wally West who did it, and I was like, no! The only way they can make that work is if Dr. Manhattan controlled him. That's the only way they can make it work. But yeah, like I said, I'm still on this viewpoint, and if they should, and they probably should do this, that Dr. Manhattan did this. He's manipulating the events around them. He's trying to get rid of Wally West. He succeeded in that and just let everyone else go to their own devices. And if this is the case, I just now realized this, he is basically responsible for the current state of the world. Idiot. In fact, that basically means he predicted, he knew his death was coming, he knew he could stop it, but he doesn't want to stop it because he's just a puppet, and like, then who's the puppeteer? Okay, we could already go to that concept. I already talked about that in the previous Doomsday Clock video before. But back to Heroes in Crisis, like, I don't know what to make of this issue in terms of what I was trying to put in. Like, there's an investigation murder going on, there's the conspiracy and the reveal of Sanctuary and the PTSD stuff that the heroes suffer from being given out to the public. There's the attempt to humor the issues that are currently going on in this, and there's the fan service they cut. Like, can we get two things, like the conspiracy and the, you know, the murder that happened, the murdering that just happened? Like, if you want comedy, you have Booster Gold, you have Harley Quinn. Why is Batman and Superman trying to make jokes right now? And why is Superman trying to play it one up Batman in the whole I'm an asshole department? So, yeah. Also, the variant cover shows about Aquaman's hand. Yeah, as you can see on the video. Aquaman does not show up in this. Yeah. So, yeah, that was my thoughts on Heroes in Crisis issue number 4 by Tom King and artist Clay Mann. This was Neo Reality Entertainment. For free like, comment, subscribe, and donate. Stay tuned for more, and I'll see you in my retrospective of Roman Reigns.